to Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Yvonne Wolf. Today, our special guest is a returning guest and award-winning author, Songju Daemicke. Since she was here last, she has published 3 more children's books, Cao Chong Weighs an Elephant, Tu Yoyo's Discovery, and Our World China. Welcome back, Songju.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
You've been so busy, huh? This a few years, and you have 3 books, and they're award-winning books too.
Yeah, it is. Yes, I have 3 more books were published. Cao Chong Weighs an Elephant is about a 7-year-old boy called name is Cao Chong, a famous Chinese child prodigy.
Yes, and he's a historical character. Person. I mean, he's a real historical person.
It is. Yes. And he lived 2,000 years ago in China. And this young boy used creative thinking and figure out the weight of an elephant 2,000 years ago. Yeah. That was amazing.
Because an elephant is too big to fit on a scale
back
then, right?
Yeah.
So how did he do it, right?
Yeah, so I think that's an amazing, fascinating story. So I want to share that story with American young readers.
And that is a well-documented historical story, yeah.
Yeah, it is. And my another book is Tu Yoyo's Discovery, Found a Cure for Malaria. It's a biography about an iconic Chinese woman scientist, Tu Yoyo.
Yes. And she is the first, I believe, that's awarded a Nobel Prize that is non-Westerner. And on top of that, I don't think she ever had a so-called postgraduate degree because she grew up in where she did her research during Cultural Revolution.
That's right. She's just amazing. She used old traditional Chinese medicine in discover artemisinin, and which has saved millions of lives, won her a Nobel Prize, and still used all over the world today.
Wow.
So
how did you come up, or how did you heard about her winning the Nobel Prize in 2015, or how?
Yeah, of course. But really what triggered me to write this story was from a TV show. I watched a TV show, an NBC TV show. It's called Icons, the Greatest Person of the 20th Century. And Tu Yoyo, along with Marie Curie and Albert Einstein and Alan Turing, were 4 candidates for scientist category. And I was so proud. Yeah. And soon I found out that most American had never heard of her, even though she saved millions of lives and won the prestigious Nobel Prize. So as a Chinese American, I'm extremely proud of her achievement. So I made it my personal mission to share her remarkable journey with young readers.
Yes.
So that I decided to write this book.
Fascinating, incredible journey, right? And she traveled a lot over the countryside and read scrolls from thousands of years ago.
Yes,
oh, so amazing.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, I am fascinated once I read about your book to read more. So, and Tu Yoyo is alive. She's 92 years old.
Yes.
Have you made any contact or email or phone or?
Tu Yoyo is retired and a very private person. I try to connect with her by email through her workplace twice. Unfortunately, I never heard back. But I did a lot of research and learned so much about her. And one thing really stood out: Chinese medicine is very powerful.
Yes.
Now I use a lot of Chinese home remedy.
Yes.
I cook ginseng chicken soup with a gucci.
Yes,
And it's delicious and healthy. It boosts people's immune system.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
all my family loves it. And I still steam pear for caffeine, just like you mom.
Yeah.
And believe or not, I dig dandelion from my own yard. And they have great medical benefits.
Sure.
And I use them in tea, salad, stir fry, even dumpling.
Oh, yeah.
So, so I learned so much from her, you know.
So it changes your life, doesn't it?
Yes.
For the better.
Yes, it is.
And you never know how someone you haven't met, but you know, in by research and by just being an admirer of her work can change your life so much as an author, right? So it is an incredible interactive relationship.
It is very true.
Yeah, and what kind of difficulties did you have in doing this research?
Oh, yes, it's very hard to write a children's book about a Chinese scientist because there is a very little material about 2UU in United States available for me to read. But luckily, I can read Chinese. So I bought some book in Chinese about 2UU and found a lot of material on the Chinese internet. So I have so many good stories about her. I'm choosing just the right material to be included in the manuscript. Actually, it was very challenging. For example, 2UU voluntarily to be the first human tested with the medicine.
I read about that a little bit.
That was truly a selfless and brave deed. But I didn't want to mislead the young reader to possibly take a medicine voluntarily or without doctor's prescription. So I had to limit the fact from the manuscript, even it was a really powerful one.
Yes, it's a very brave and sacrificial, you know, to attempt to try her own medicine. Yes, but I heard that a lot of traditional Chinese medicine herbalists do that. They perform acupressure on themselves while they're learning, and but that's certainly something important not to let your young readers read about. And there's so many. So I must believe there's so much that is, let's say, cultural and living. Her upbringing must be very different from American children to identify with.
Definitely.
And so choosing those stories must have been difficult.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking when you were mentioning it's not easy to be in touch with her, I would think in America a similar person may have a publicist who respond in her place, right? But in China you just don't know because she doesn't have, let's say, a team of people who handles her marketing, so to speak. And then how about Our World China? Now that is a book that's part of a series. How do you write a book that fits into like a series?
That book is interesting too. That book was started with a tweet on Twitter in late 2021. It's a senior editor from Barefoot Books. We're looking for recommendations as to a Chinese American children's book author to write a book about China for her new book series, Our World. And I remember I was tagged by my agent. She recommended me. And
excellent.
There were quite a few Chinese American children writers. So I didn't think much of it. then at the late of June 2022, and I received a message from my website. It's the same
Publisher.
editor, and she asked me if I would interested in hearing more about this opportunity, and I said, of course. So we had a Zoom meeting, and she offered me the contract to write the book, Our World China. That's, as a Chinese American writer, write a book for the youngest reader and about my home country.
Yes.
It was a dream project for me.
Yes, it is a privilege and an honor, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And it's so important that we, like Chinese Americans, I think when we write about something like that, it's a lot more accessible and relatable than, let's say, Chinese national, because you know how to relate to our audience here.
It is. At the same time, because when I started writing this book, there were a few books in the same series after already. So it's kind of write this book were fun, but at the same time it's very challenging. And we have to make sure my book fit in the series with other book fit in well, and also avoiding the similarity in words, action, and idea used at the same time. See, I give you an example, like the last spread of the book is I wrote first version. I wrote it like this: the moon glides through water lily cloud. Mama sing me a lullaby. Wan an.
Yes.
Good night.
Yes.
So this just accurately reflect my childhood memory of my mother, who loved sing to us.
Yes.
But because in the same series, it's the lullaby already used, so the change for my exactly book were deemed, necessary. So we have to change. The second version will become like this. The moon glides through water lily cloud. Wan an, good night. So we just remove that sentence, Mom, sing me a lullaby. So, but however, and no one had heard of water lily cloud, and felt children may not understand it. So we have to change again. So it's become like this: the white cloud drift like water lily. Then the final question, and when my editor and check with the illustration, he found the white words, it's a little bit, doesn't work well with the moon and the color, the illustration. So we have to change it to silver. So that's become the final version of the silver cloud drift like water lily. And one good night. So you see, it's like a lot of thinking went into even the simplest text.
Yes, and a lot of discussion too. And what started out as very personal experience, right, with your mother and the emotional connection is almost, let's say, washed out. So, but it still has this, it translates the beauty of it.
Yes.
But in Chinese language, definitely, we would be very comfortable with using the cloud as watery because it has water radicals and is understood by Chinese language. So I can see that, some of these challenges in making a book accessible in English, and not just the language, but the interpretation and connection.
I haven't mentioned that one. Actually, Our World China, it's about, it's a part of a series, Our World. And this particular book is about a small child enjoy a day in China, like flying kite on the squares and buying sweet lychee at the market and going up juicy dumplings and the young reader also can learn a few very simple Chinese words along the way.
Yes. So those are all require lots of choices and decision making.
Yes, it is. It was a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, so okay. So now let's talk about the audience, because I imagine you are talking about Our World China is a younger audience. What is the age group, would you say?
Actually, yes, Our World of China is for age, it's a board book for very young readers. It's for ages 0 to 4. But Chao Chong Wei's Elephant and Tu Youyou's Discovery are for ages 4 to 8.
I see.
Yeah, I talk about audience. I will mention a little bit more about Tu Youyou's Discovery. I think this book is particularly good for second grade to fourth grade, because at this age the kids start to think about what they want to be when they grow up. And Tu Youyou is a great role model whose story will inspire young readers, especially girls, to pursue a STEM-related career. The field of science and engineer are not for boys only. We need more women scientists and engineers. And to use this book, I think it's more than just how Tu Youyou found a cure for malaria. It's also about persistence, value your own culture and history, and fighting the female gender discrimination in a male-dominated world, of never giving up. So I hope the young readers will, through read Tu Youyou's story, will see that there is no limit if we refuse to quit, that failure is a part of success. You too, just like a Tu Youyou, can make, change the world.
And I think that's true for all scientists. That scientists are constantly testing something that could be true, could be wrong, and then retesting that, right? And just going out with a hypothesis and finding out the truth.
That's right.
Yeah, so that is a wonderful lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
Now, what is okay, so the age group, so you mentioned that, but when it comes to age group, did you also have to make decisions on word choice?
Oh, yeah,
right?
Of course.
There's a limit vocabulary for the Our World China?
Yes, all these books, they have a certain vocabulary. You don't want to over their head, but you could introduce a little bit more vocabulary, but you have to be you want to explain a little bit, so in a settled way. Yeah.
So that's nice to know, because I'm sure that's something most people don't think about when they read a children's book. They just flip through and they don't think about, wow, the word choices, so much goes into that.
Yes.
Do you get any feedback from your audience, your readership?
Oh, yes. All three books are very well received. Our World China is just published, released last month. It's already received a star review from our school library journal. It said it's useful as a window, also as a mirror. This title is highly recommended. So yeah, and
good to hear that.
Yes, thank you. And Tu Youyou's Discovery was a finalist for SBF 23 Book Award, Excellence in Science Book, and it was Manti Girl 2021 Book of the Year, and it's featured in prestigious science magazine.
Yeah.
And it said this book does an excellent job of conveying a sense of time, sacrifice, and shared persistence. Very often underline a revolutionary scientific discovery.
Yes.
So I feel very honored for it. And Chao Chong with Elephant won so many awards, like one of the best STEM book from NASA, and it's the best children book of the year for the Chinese American Library Association, and it's an outstanding science book, like a notable social study book, and even Mexico book. Even it's a best STEM book in Australia. I've never been there.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
You have to go now.
Yeah,
it
it
might be a good place to visit as an honored guest. That's wonderful. Yeah, and this is just so fun to hear about, because I feel, well, books are always the best gifts, but also, like you mentioned, one of your readership's response, it is a window to the bigger world. And I think we need to build connections, right, from one country to another, nowadays especially, for us. And the more we know each other in some way, the better it is. Yeah, and we can start more conversations, and definitely it's more meaningful in a book than just Googling about another country.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, there's just so much craft in writing a book. What connects you to Glenview?
Oh, we have been living in Glenview. Actually, we lived in Glenview for over 20 years. My husband, Dale, grew up in Glenview. And Dale and my 3 daughters, they all went to GBS, Springman, and Land School. And we love Glenview. I think it's a great place for a family. Great schools. It's convenient to everywhere, and a very cultural place. And 2 things I love most in Glenview. One is our library. I grew up in a small town of China. There wasn't a single library.
No.
No.
So, libraries are a very new phenomenon for Chinese, yes.
Yes. So every time I walk in our Glenview library and see rows and rows of bookshelves full of beautiful books, I always amazed and grateful for the privilege able to access all these wonderful books.
Yes, you can stay there forever. I feel like I always want to spend hours in our library.
I want to live there. So another thing I love is an old, magnificent oak tree in the grove, and we call it Alp. And this tree and full of nuts, and history, and knowledge, and wisdom, and life. And we love to visit and touch it and talk to it. Yeah, so that's
very special. I haven't heard that from any of our guests.
Oh, you should go to visit that tree.
Okay, we will.
Yeah.
And we will, because the tree is, in Chinese, has a lot of qi, right?
Yes.
It has a spirit of its own.
Yes. That's why we not only just talk to it, we want to touch it too.
Yeah. To admire and connect with it.
Yes, definitely.
Very nice. Well, that is definitely unique, and I will put it on my list of things to do. And I just want to, you have any advice for authors out there?
Oh, yeah. I think embrace and learn from your heritage and culture, then use it in your writing. And this will give your story a deeper heart.
That is a very good point. because we all come from somewhere, even if it's just our family we belong to. And this definitely builds dimension to our artistic works as well.
Yes, make your style special. Yes.
Well, Songju, it's so nice to have you back.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be back.
And thank you for watching. Join us next time on Off the Shelf.